Hello, hello. Here we are, season 4, video 5. Very excited to be here with this exciting new topic of going into the forest, the sensual forest, the beautiful forest where all of nature surrounds us, the trees, the birds, the smell of the ocean. If you're near an ocean forest area, the smell of the moss, the wetness, the dryness, the crispness, the nature. It's just so sensual. It's such a sensual place to be. And this is where I experience a lot of different sensual experiences in the forest. So I wanted to go back. I've told another story before about the forest, but this is another event that I had in the forest, which is definitely worthy of talking about. Now, the area that I would go is in Vancouver, British Columbia. It's called Wreck Beach. Wreck Beach is a clothing optional beach. And there are 7 staircases that go down to this beautiful sandy beach that overlooks the sunset. It's probably the most beautiful beach in Vancouver. But you have to go down long, 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 long stairs to get to the main beach area. But there are 7 staircases, and one of them is for the main beach, and the other ones take you into the forest, into sort of more remote area of the forest. And there's smaller beach areas, but there is a beautiful path that winds along through the forest, both sides coming in, eventually leading to the main beach. Now, along this forest path, there are people that have set up in the little cubby beach areas, um, naked most of the time. If you are someone that's been on this path, you are the ones that are sitting naked in the beach, these little secluded beach areas. The main beach area is, there's a lot of nudity there, but there's definitely no sexual activity on the main beach. The sexual activity takes place in these little secluded beach areas and up into the forest. There are little trails that take you into different spaces in the forest where there's an opening and where people go to have sex. Ah! So the first time I went there, I was quite terrified. My husband dragged me along, said, "We have to go. You have to see this place." He had been there already without me. And so I said, okay. Now, the area that we went down into is mostly a gay beach area, not exclusively, but mostly. Homosexual men, bisexual men, mostly homosexual men, are much more open about their sexuality. And for a very long time, it was mostly, maybe just only gay men that went down to this particular part of the beach area because they were just much more exploratory than heterosexual couples or women for that matter. Um, and not until relatively recently, women have started to go down there because women have come into their sexuality. So now we have homosexuals in their sexuality, and women are coming into their sexuality and wanting more pleasure and definitely wanting that ability to connect to nature. Oh my God. This for me, like connecting to nature, being in a natural environment with the trees and the sounds of the birds and just the peace of nature is, and having sex in that kind of an area is the absolute best for me. I absolutely love it. It makes me feel more wild. It makes the connection feel wild and exciting and taboo in a way. But also, the wind is in there. The feeling of the air is all over your body, and you just feel I don't know. I just feel so much more real and connected and sensual. I mean, I did do a poll in the Patreon, and it seemed like many people, though there weren't not that many people who voted, but the people who did say they have had a forest sex experience. So I don't know how many people have not, but it seemed like quite a few people have. And it is an experience that I love. Um, You have to have a partner that is not afraid to do it. And I was initially quite afraid, but then I got over my fear and I said, let's go, let's enjoy it. And my husband then, he and I had a number of our own little events in the forest because we would go down to Wreck Beach quite often. It was a beautiful place to go, just like lying naked under the sun. Um, is just phenomenal. You know, all of those parts of your body that never see the sunshine. I never had any tan lines on my body, put it that way, never when I was in Vancouver. So this one time, we had a good friend who we had had many experiences together with as a threesome, as a MFM with him. He was not bisexual, but he was very bi friendly, let's say. Not a problem being near another man or another man sucking his cock. He just was not interested in cock himself. But so we said, let's go down to Wreck Beach together. And he was all up for the adventure, of course. He had never been himself. So I was wondering, is he going to be able to, take his clothes off and have sex in the forest? We will see. But my husband and I had been many times, and we were leading the way and taking him along this erotic journey. He was excited just for that alone. So we get to the stairs and down we go, down, 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 down. And it kind of gets you, it's like going into the dark tunnel of sexuality, eroticism down there at the bottom of the stairs where everything takes place. um, so at one point it says, okay, at this point you can take your clothes off. And we go to the bottom first. And then we all take our clothes off, and he did not have a problem taking his clothes off. Of course, I took mine off, my husband took his off, and then of course he took his clothes off. And right away, as soon as you're naked and you see your sexual partners near you naked, you suddenly feel, and then the sun is sort of blasting through the trees, and there's this air that touches your private parts and just makes you feel so alive and brings the eroticism in your body whisking through every pore. You are in the place of sensuality and excitement and adventure. We didn't know where we were going to go. We didn't know what we were going to do, but we were on an adventure. So off we go, walking through this forest path, which goes up into the forest and then it goes down by the water and then it goes back up into the forest and then down by the water. So it's kind of up and down. You get the shade of the forest and the kind of mossy feel of the forest, and then you get the sunshine and the heat when you get out into the little beach areas. So your body gets all of it. We walked about a quarter of the way down, and at that point, there's a lot of little turn-off paths, and we could see in a couple of the paths where there were some people there, couples, two men, four men, couple of spots where little activity was taking place. Um, so we would just walk very slowly and kind of glance and two people just getting intimate, touching each other. In one scene, two men erect, standing there, looking at each other, kissing. We are getting more and more turned on. We found a path that led us up a little bit into the forest. And we had never been on this path before, but we thought, let's go try this because we wanted to go a little bit more remote if possible. And I want to say there are not a lot of people down there. There are, on some days, like weekends, of course, there's more people and there's more activity. I have literally seen a whole circle of men in an erotic journey adventure together. And I have seen couples making love on the beach. So there is activity on the weekends, especially, and weekdays is usually very quiet, but we were there on a weekend, so a bit more activity going on. We made our way up this little trail, very narrow trail through the forest, and it opened up into sort of a circular area with a big log drawn across the open circular area. Perfect. And the log was about my waist height. So immediately we all look at each other, and my husband takes me in his arms and we start making out. And then a man who's with us comes, and the three of us are kind of touching and making out and feeling each other's hot bodies, which are now getting kind of sweaty, and we're rubbing against each other, and I can feel these two hot, strong men against my body. It feels so amazing. And then I just sort of tap out, and I feel the arms and hands and legs and hard cocks against my body, and I just close my eyes and I hear the birds chirping, and I feel the breeze on my skin. It's like, oh, this is just incredible. And then my husband takes me and he puts me over the log that's lying sort of raised in this middle of this area, and leans me over the log. So now my body is like leaning against this old log, and it feels rough, but it feels raw and yeah, raw and just like really connected to nature. And he starts like massaging my back and my butt and opening me up and playing with my pussy with his hand. And I'm just like dripping wet at this point. And he's like teasing me and playing with me. And then the other man is on the other side of the log, and he comes around with his big cock in my mouth, and I am strewn over the log, one guy on one side, my husband on the other side, and then he penetrates me, and I am being fucked from both sides here. Um, I felt I felt like an animal, like a wild woman animal being penetrated and loved and seduced and fornicated in the middle of this crazy forest atmosphere. It was absolutely incredible. Uh, and so this goes on for a while. And then suddenly I hear this kind of crunching in the forest. Like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? And I'm kind of nervous, and I want to jump up. My husband's like, lie down. It's okay. And I kind of turning, and I see there's a man sort of walking up behind us, and he's getting close because now I can sort of see him as I turn my head. Uh, and then I see my husband just put his hand up, like, stop. So the guy stops. Like, there's no reason to let anybody join you, but there's also no reason not to let anybody watch you. And that's part of the fun too. So he just stood there and watched us in this crazy turned over position that I was in, with one man on one side and one man on the other. And we were getting into it, and I was having orgasms and squirting all over the place. And they were getting super, super excited by the position that we were in and being in the forest. And our sounds started to grow. And I was getting more and more excited, and my husband was getting excited, and we were all like just going at it. And then the guy came around, and they traded places. He put on a condom because we always had a condom if it was somebody that was not my husband. And now I'm being penetrated by him, and my husband's cock is in my mouth, and they are going at me again, and making grunting noises themselves. And I'm just like having the time of my life. What can I say? This is just the most amazing experience that you can have, I feel. Then they both extract from me, and I turn around, and I see the man is still standing there. And then I turn around, my back now against the log. My husband comes from behind me holding my breasts, and the other man goes down on his knees between my legs. And he's playing with my upper body. And then this other man is down at me licking my pussy. And I am looking at this man. I don't know who he is. He's just standing there, and it was a little bit strange, but I felt safe. I had two men that I knew very well that were here, that were protecting me, I mean, I don't really need protection, but that I was with, and nobody else was going to come near. And, even if I wasn't with two men and I was naked walking in this forest, if you say no, people do not bother you. This is not the kind of place where people attack each other, like rape each other. No, this is very, very consensual location. You can walk through completely naked and not have a single experience, which we did many, many times. And then you can also go in the forest and have experiences. If we'd wanted to, we could have called that man to join us, and he would have, but we did not want to. And so he did not. We just wanted the three of us to be together. So here we're now in that position, and I am again squirting. I would squirt liters at times when I was really, really excited. Then my husband came around, and then it was the three of us, and they were getting really excited, and I was holding both of them in my hands, and at the same time, they ejaculated all over me, just everywhere. And so I just leaned back on the log, lay back on the log, and just was like, oh. And I had multiple orgasms. So I was done. They were now done. And we all just kind of leaned against the log, and there was some sun streaming through, and we were just like taking in the sun and feeling the vibration of our bodies, like, after you have an orgasm, how your body feels vibrational and just beyond what the sensations of the body is here. It's like your sensations go beyond, 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 beyond. And it was just an absolute incredible experience. And at that point, the band left. And we just kind of laughed and giggled about what happened. And then we walked down out of the forest and over to the ocean. And we went into the ocean, had a nice ocean dip, cleansed our bodies in the ocean. It was a magical experience. I hope everybody has this opportunity to do this kind of thing one time in their lives, having sex in the forest, either just alone with your partner or with another person as a threesome. Either way, it is super erotic, super fun. And if you are living in any area in the world, please let us know where is your nudist beach, and do you are people having sex is there a forest there? Are people having sex there? Where is the public sex area in your area? There's got to be somewhere in every city. I'm in Rio de Janeiro right now, and I have not found that space, but I'm looking for it. I just found out there's a nude beach quite far from where I am. You would be surprised, like Rio de Janeiro, the women literally have like triangles on their nipples and on their pussies, but they cannot go nude on the beaches. They're actually even wear black tape, some of them, because they just want very fine lines, like a little triangle, black tape on it's black tape, literally. But nudity, no, 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 no. But there is a nude beach a little ways away from where I am, and I am going to definitely check it out. And there must be some sexual activity going on there. There just has to be. So I am very keen to find out. And I'm also very keen to know where else these nudist beaches are in the world. Let me know below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the story. Much love making.